All right, everyone, I am sure that you are aware that tax day has just come and gone. And there is a story that is very important and very relevant to your lives that we wanted to talk about here, which is the way that you are being screwed over by TurboTax and by H&R Block and these other tax filers, and also by a corrupt federal government. All right, so let's talk about all of this. Let's put Tarek Thompson's piece up on the screen here first. He wrote this a couple years back, but it is still very much the case. He says the 10-second tax return, letting the government do its citizens' taxes, is cheap, efficient, and accurate. Naturally, the United States won't do it. We take it as a given in this country that tax preparation and tax filing has to be a complete and utter nightmare. Annoying, time-consuming, stressful, anxiety-inducing, often expensive. None of that actually has to be the case. In fact, in other countries, if you are a wage earner, like the overwhelming majority of Americans are, the government already has your information. Yeah. Employers are required to submit what your wages are and what you've learned. So in Sweden, for example, the vast majority, he writes, of taxpayers don't do battle with tax documents and fine print question about itemized deductions. They literally get a document from the government with everything already filled out, and all they have to do is respond yes to that document, and it's done. Yeah. It literally takes like 5 seconds. So you might ask yourself, well, why haven't we done this in our country, Saagar?
Tell me.
And as always, follow the money. The bottom line is, and I'll get into the specifics here, that these tax prep companies, H&R Block, Intuit, TurboTax, they make big bank on forcing you to go through this incredibly painful process. And so it was a live issue a while back in 2003, to actually move in the direction of Sweden and other nations of the world and have the government have an easy file solution where things are filled out for you, it's simple, it's straightforward, and the overwhelming majority of taxpayers could have their taxes done like this. But guess what? That would hurt those companies and it would take away their cash cow. So they lobbied the government. They funneled all kinds of money mostly to Republican legislators. And so what they got written into law instead is, rather than the government coming up with their own free and easy to file solution, where the end goal is just to make things simple for people, and for the government, by the way, would then collect a lot more taxes than they do now too. Instead, they entered into this corrupt partnership with those companies and said, you all are going to participate in this free file system. You're going to create the product that people are going to use. Well, you can guess what happened next. Yes, those companies technically created those systems. They buried them, made them impossible to find, so consumers couldn't find them. They made them intentionally difficult to use. This all, by the way, was the subject of a great investigation and legal action against these companies. Made them intentionally difficult to use so that people couldn't figure out how it was done, to incentivize them to move into the paid products. And then even worse than that, they would sort of funnel people into paying for this without people even realizing that they were being funneled into the paid product. So perfect story of a good idea which becomes completely corrupted and captured, and these companies are bilking the American taxpayer for millions of dollars. The latest development here with this tax season is Elizabeth Warren and a number of other legislators actually wrote a letter to the makers of TurboTax, calling them out. Let's go ahead and throw this piece up on the screen. They say this part that they're focused on now is that in addition to all of this, TurboTax has now hired all of these former government officials to lobby and influence peddle in Washington. And so they're demanding answers about exactly who all they have hired and what they are doing to try to influence their government. One of the people she calls out is apparently they paid an undisclosed sum to John Friedman, a former member of President Obama's National Economic Council, to influence peddle in Washington. So it really is a disgusting story of corruption and something that should be easy and simple and painless being made like excruciating for American taxpayers every year.
Go ahead and put Helene Olen's piece up on the screen, because she points to the same things. We spend hours and hours preparing our taxes. We just shouldn't have to do that. And look, Krystal, you and I are a small business. We have had to spend tens of thousands of dollars in order to prepare compare our business taxes because we make money on the internet across different states because of a Supreme Court ruling, as well as we talked previously about storing our merchandise. I want people to know this. Like, in terms of, is it easy? No, it's actually not. You literally have to hire somebody in order to figure out this complex tax code, and it's all like a guessing game of estimating income by different states. And this stuff, it's nuts. I mean, you know, we're spending time, energy, and effort on taxes when we should be on content, on hiring more people and adding value. I mean, this is a boomer libertarian argument, but it's true.
Well, but it's not when you look at, look at who is involved. It's Katie Porter and Elizabeth Warren who's pushing this, because basically what they're saying is, look, they're not saying people shouldn't pay taxes or the tax rate should be eliminated or anything like that.
We are happy to pay our taxes.
We're happy to pay.
Yes.
The problem is that it has been intentionally made complicated to fatten the goose of the multi-billion-dollar tax preparation industry.
Right.
And for the overwhelming majority of Americans, like 70% of Americans that are wage earners, this could be so simple and painless. And instead, because of this corrupt bargain that has been made, it is like painful every single year for no reason. Yeah, so 100%. We wanted to remind you that your legislators and your elected leaders, and in combination with these corrupt corporate ghouls, are making things painful for you every year, and they don't have to.
Yeah, it didn't have to be this way.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. More for you later. Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing, and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.